Thank you to the Lansing Ceremonial Honor Guard for all you do for Lansing and for welcoming me here today to talk about something I am passionate about, which is Honor Flight Chicago. I want to give you a little bit of history about Honor Flight. The Honor Flight Network is conducted by non-profit organizations dedicated to transporting as many United States military veterans as possible to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials of their respective wars. This comes at no cost to our veterans. Currently, many hubs, including Chicago, transport World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. on a monthly basis between April and October of each year. The veterans are generally escorted by volunteer guardians who help them on the flight and around D.C. after landing. The network was co-founded by Earl Morris, a physician assistant and retired Air Force captain, and a Mr. Jeff Miller, a small business owner and son of a World War II veteran. They worked in the Department of Veterans Affairs Clinic in Springfield, Ohio, where he saw many patients who were World War II veterans. After the National World War II Memorial was completed in 2004, he asked many of his patients, have they seen their memorial? 300 of his patients were asked, and not one had gone to see the memorial. He then offered to fly to Washington, D.C. with 2 World War II veterans. After seeing them break down and cry and graciously accept the offer, he decided he needed to do something and improve his idea. And so he approached his idea to the local Aero Club of about 300 private pilots at a local Air Force base. He proposed that the pilots would pay for, would fly, and would escort the veterans around Washington, D.C. 11 volunteered, and the network was formed. By 2005, a board was formed, funds were raised, and volunteers had joined, and the first honor flight took place in May of 2005. 6 small planes flew 12 veterans to Washington, D.C. Due to the high participation, the program began using commercial flights shortly after that. The seed that Morse had planted grew to a veritable forest of volunteerism, fundraising, and goodwill towards the greatest generation. Veterans who were too busy building their communities to demand recognition for their wartime service. The Springfield, Ohio group soon merged to form the Honor Flight Network. Both Morris and Miller were awarded Presidential Citizens Medals in 2008 for their extensive work with the program. As of May 21st, 2019, Honor Flight celebrated their 14th anniversary. They have transported 225,000 veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit their respective memorials. The honor flight of 100 veterans costs about $30,000 per flight. Flights east of the Mississippi go for a 1-day trip. Flights west of the Mississippi are afforded an overnight trip to Washington, D.C. June 9th, 2014, Representative Cedric Richmond, a Democrat from Louisiana, introduced the Honor Flight Act in Congress. This bill would direct the TSA to establish a process for providing expedited and dignified passenger screening for veterans traveling on an honor flight to visit the war memorials built and dedicated to their honor and service. The law became law, on December 16, 2014, after being passed in the House and Senate without amendment. Honor Flight Chicago was then established in 2008. We have flown 95 flights, including 8,728 veterans, 6,318 World War II veterans, 203 Korean veterans, 380 Vietnam veterans. And what really brings it close to all of us here who've donated their time and their monies and their efforts to this program, 97 cents on every dollar goes right back to our veterans. It's been a privilege to volunteer with Honor Flight Chicago since 2013 as an office staffer, ground crew, and flight team member. I have flown twice with the Honor Flight veterans, once as a medical guardian and once as just a guardian, and each time it has been such an honor to be able to give back to my community. The Guardians pay their way on the flight so that Honor Flight Chicago can afford to fly more and more and more veterans every flight. Honor Flight Chicago's welcome home is incredible. It's just an experience that, unless you've been there, you don't understand. But Lansing has done something above and beyond what Honor Flight Chicago does to recognize their own hometown heroes. Lansing has added to the recognition by developing our own welcome home. Lansing's welcome home has been duplicated in 2 southwest suburban communities who read the articles about our welcome home in the Lansing Journal and wanted to figure out a way that they too can welcome home their hometown hero. I am so grateful for the support of the Village of Lansing, the elected officials, the Lansing Police, Fire, Public Works, Lansing Country Club, the Lansing Public Library, the Lansing Journal, Lanark Park District, LACE, Lansing American Legion, Post 697, including the American Legion Auxiliary, the Legion Riders, the Sons of the American Legion, the Lansing Ceremonial Honor Guard, our Lansing Junior Women's Club, our Lansing Chamber of Commerce, our Lansing School Districts 158, 171, and 215. We've had Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts of the Lansing area support us, and many churches in Lansing have come out and joined citizens who have donated money, written letters, referred veterans, and or come out to show their support to our Lansing veterans as they return home from their day of honor. Lansing does it right. For those of you who want more information about Honor Flight Chicago, you can go to honorflightchicago.org. Most of you know how to find me. I have applications in my car. I really do want to reach out to all of our veterans. We are now flying our Vietnam veterans, so if we could get more applications out there, I would be eternally grateful. If there's anything that I can do, including debunk the rumor that one of the veterans told me, bullshit, little lady, you don't get nothing for nothing. And I said, Honor Flight Chicago is free to our veterans, and we want to include as many as we can. Now I'd like to introduce Mr. Steve Mayer, one of the recipients of Honor Flight Chicago. He's a Korean War veteran, the owner of Lansing Floral, and one of Lansing's own hometown heroes. Mr. Mayer.